Does your family have rules? Actually, every family has some rules. Some of the time they're written down and this looks like a pretty good list. But some of the time they're simply understood. For example, one of the rules that's simply understood is that you and your spouse will be faithful to each other. You never thought you'd have to write it down or even have a discussion about it. It has simply been understood, or at least so you thought. Now one of you has been unfaithful. And if it was your spouse, you are devastated. How could this have happened? You didn't deserve this. You never signed up for a relationship where you were going to be cheated on and traumatized by your partner's acting out. But maybe the person who was unfaithful is you. In fact, this may not even be the first time that you've been unfaithful. You may have been dealing with a series of sexual encounters with many people throughout years. These may or may not have been affairs. They may or may not have had emotion present. So, how could you have done this? What explains your behavior? Well, one explanation would be that you simply don't love your spouse. Yeah, you may not even value the relationship. You simply don't care. Or maybe another explanation is that you simply do not have a moral compass. Like, what's the big deal? So I cheat a little. But then you look at your life and you realize that you've got integrity in virtually every other area of life except this. How could you have gotten to the place where you are now? How could you have gotten into behavior that 5, 10, 20 years or more ago you would have said, that's impossible. I would never do these things. And yet you've done them. Well, maybe what explains your behavior is that you're a sex addict. In fact, for some, hearing that term brings fear or revulsion. There's such a misunderstanding about what sex addiction is that for some, the term sex addict is seen as being synonymous with sex offender or pedophile. But sex offending is something completely different. You see, sex addiction is a progressive intimacy disorder where a person engages in behaviors that harms themselves or someone else. If you are a sex addict or you believe that you may be one, that's not something to fear. For you see, there is treatment for sex addiction and it is very effective. A diagnosis of sex addiction brings hope. If you think that you may be a sex addict, get help today. Go to this website, www.hopeandfreedom.com. Use the menu at the top of the page to find a list of 12-step fellowships that focus on sex addiction. Find a meeting that you can attend and go to a meeting today. And then on this website, there's a great deal of information about sex addiction and recovery. There are many more videos and information that is available for you for free, as well as other resources that are available for purchase. Decide today that you're not going to let sex addiction rule your life. Decide today that you will do whatever it takes so that you can be a person of integrity who can live by the family rules as well as by your own rules. You can be the person you were meant to be and live a life completely free from all acting out. I'm Dr. Milton Magnus, wishing you hope and freedom.